Date runs are a great way to build your collection. Are you sure you've got them all? I'll show you some you might not be aware of. During a recent world coin hunt, I mentioned that the 1918 UK penny had several variants, and that maybe, just maybe, I should do a video dedicated to a couple of these coins. However, before we do start, can I please ask that if you find this video interesting and maybe even slightly educational, maybe enough to consider a like and subscribe come the end. So here we are today for a closer look at the 1912, 1918 and 1919 George V pennies. Okay, so to kick us off, a quick history lesson. So pennies were all uniform in size, weight and general design from 1860 through to the last ones in 1967. So as you can see, there's one there from Edward VII on the left and Queen Elizabeth II on the right. There's best part of 60 years difference. The design remained almost the same. The obverse varies obviously for each monarch, but the reverse stayed almost the same. So you'll have Britannia seated facing right, wearing a helmet and holding the trident, and her other hand resting on a shield bearing the Union flag. So the penny was 1/12 of a shilling. So 12 of these would have been 1 shilling, but you would need 240 of these to make a pound. Now that's loose change in your pocket. That's gonna put a hole in your pocket straight away. So what you could find, even as far up to as the late 60s, 1967, you could have had Victoria, Edward VII, George V, or even George VI in your change alongside Queen Elizabeth II. And bearing in mind that Queen Victoria died in 1901, so the coins stayed in circulation all that time. So the 1912. 1912 coin was minted in both London, the home of the mint before the move to South Wales, and Birmingham. And that particular mint in Birmingham was known as the Heaton Mint. The two mints produced their coins in such a way that collectors over the years, like ourselves, 100 years later, will be able to identify which one was which very, very easily, as long as you've got good eyesight. The London Mint produced 48,306,050 coins for 1912. The Heaton Mint was only 16.8 million in comparison. So the difference is a simple mark next to the date. The London Mint didn't use a mint mark. Its absence was enough to know where it came from, but the Heaton Mint used an H to the left of the date. So this wasn't actually the first time the Heaton Mint had been used, as there were several years during Queen Victoria's time that the mark appeared. 1875, 1881, 1882 come to mind. Although London was the Royal Mint's official base, it wasn't unheard of to use other mints in other countries within the empire for coins. The sovereign itself, for example, was minted in London, Australia, India, Canada, and even South Africa, each with their own individual markings. The 1918-1919 coins, same state of play. In 1918-1919, the London and Heaton mints were used to produce the penny. However, so was another mint in Birmingham, Kings Norton. Now, I don't know for sure, but I suspect it was to help pump money back into the economy following World War One. But Kings Norton were known for ammunition making, and I think they might have been part of the Birmingham Small Arms Company, possibly. But I do know they were bought out by ICI in the mid-20s. The London and Heaton marks remain the same, but Kings Norton would be identified with a KN to the left of the date. Although 3 different mints were in use, the penny retained the same weight, diameter and metal composition as 50 years earlier. The H and KN mints totalled 3,660,800 in 1918, and the London Mint produced 84,227,370 of their own. But come 1919, the numbers increased a little to 5,209,600 for Heaton and Kings Norton, and 113,761,090 for London. With the introduction of decimalisation in 1971, it was all changed for the large penny, and many, many other coins with them, but with some still being kept in circulation, like the old shilling was being used as the 5 pence. In a way, the penny still exists today. If you ever open a tin of Quality Street chocolates, that large toffee disc that most people tend to leave, that's known as the penny. Well, I hope this trip down memory lane was interesting and, as I say, is it educational? So if you like the presentation, please consider a like and subscribe, as it helps the channel grow and get suggested to others. So on that educational bombshell, as always, thank you for staying to the end, and cheers all.